Let's start with a story. I want you to meet Rajesh. He's 5 years old, living in a small village in Bihar. And at 5, he should be full of energy, running around with his friends. But Rajesh is different. He's noticeably shorter than the other kids, several inches below where a healthy 5-year-old should be. And the really tragic part, he is not alone, not even close. In fact, Rajesh represents one of the most staggering statistics in India today. 1 in every 3 children under the age of 5 is stunted. We're talking about 35.5% of all of India's youngest citizens. So, what does stunted actually mean? You see, stunting isn't just about being short. It's a visible sign that a child's growth has been permanently held back, slowed down by a long-term lack of nutrition and repeated illness. And here's the part that's so tough to swallow. The damage happens really early. And after a child's second birthday, it's pretty much impossible to reverse. So what does that 1 in 3 figure look like in real numbers? Well, it means that right now, there are around 47 million children in India whose bodies and brains have not developed to their full potential. To put that in perspective, that's a number almost as big as the entire population of Spain. But the real damage, the part you can't see, is even worse. Stunting literally robs children of their future. It can lead to a lower IQ, and it makes them more likely to get sick. It means they'll probably struggle more in school, and then, as adults, they'll end up earning between 20 to 30% less over their entire lifetime. This isn't just a personal tragedy for millions of families, it's a national one. So the big question is, why does this keep happening? Well, the answer lies in this vicious, generational cycle that traps families sometimes for decades. And understanding this trap is absolutely the key to breaking it. It all starts before a child is even born. Right now in India, over half of all women of reproductive age are anemic. This anemic mother is way more likely to give birth to a low birth weight baby who starts life already at a huge disadvantage. That baby, with poor nutrition and getting sick all the time, becomes a stunted child. This child then grows into a low-earning adult. And when a stunted girl grows up and becomes a malnourished mother herself, well, the cycle just starts all over again. One generation's bad health becomes the next generation's poverty. In all of this, it really hinges on this critical 1,000-day window. From the moment of conception to a child's second birthday, their brain is just furiously forming neural connections. If their nutrition is poor during this period, the brain literally does not develop to its full potential. Missing this window is missing a once-in-a-lifetime chance to build a stronger, smarter future for them and for all of us. Now, you might be thinking this is all about just not having enough food, but here's a twist. A huge piece of this puzzle is actually sanitation. Think about it. In places with open defecation and unclean water, kids are constantly getting bacteria in their systems. This causes this chronic inflammation in their gut that stops them from absorbing the nutrients from the food they do eat. It's a brilliant illustration of why building toilets isn't just a cleanliness campaign, it's one of the most powerful nutrition interventions we have. And this brings us to the true cost of stunting. We often talk about this as a social problem, but at its heart, it is a massive economic problem that is silently dragging down the entire country. How massive, you ask? Well, global estimates suggest that child undernutrition shaves off 2 to 3% of a country's GDP every single year. This is from lost productivity, from a workforce that's just not as capable as it could be, and of course from higher healthcare costs. For India, that's hundreds of thousands of crores lost year after year. This quote right here, it really says it all. Stunting is a hidden tax on India's future. It's a tax we pay every single day in the form of lost human potential and throttled economic growth. It's this silent crisis that, honestly, we can't afford to ignore anymore. And this tax isn't paid equally across the country. Just look at this chart. In a state like Bihar, nearly 43% of children are stunted. In Uttar Pradesh, it's around 39%. But then you look at a state like Kerala, where the rate is below 25%. What this disparity shows us, what it proves, is that progress is absolutely possible. We know what better outcomes look like. Okay, so if we know progress is possible, then what's the solution? And this is where the story shifts from being about a crisis to being about one of the smartest investment opportunities India has. So let's just lay out the choice here. It's pretty stark. The cost of doing nothing is staggering, losing 2 to 3% of our GDP every year. And the cost of action? A focused investment of just 0.15 to 0.22% of GDP annually. I mean, it's the difference between a permanent drag on our growth and a strategic investment in our greatest asset, our people. And what's the return on that investment? Well, get this. For every single rupee spent on a proven package of nutrition interventions, India stands to gain between 15 and 20 rupees back in future economic benefits. That is an absolutely incredible benefit-cost ratio. It's one of the highest return investments any country could possibly make. So, what's in this magic package of interventions? You know what? It's not rocket science. It's a list of proven, common-sense, life-saving actions. Iron supplements for mothers, vitamins and deworming for kids, supporting breastfeeding, and of course, making sure everyone has access to safe water and toilets. We already have all the tools we need. Which, of course, leads to the obvious question: if the problem is so clear, the cost is so manageable, and the solutions are so effective, why haven't we solved this already? And the simple answer is this: the challenge is not a knowledge gap, it's an implementation gap. We know what to do. The problem is in how we do it. It's about getting the funding right, getting the infrastructure in place, and having real accountability from the national level all the way down to the village. Breaking this trap really means moving on 3 fronts at the same time. The government needs to step up with focused spending and demand results. The system, the Anganwadi centers, the local services, needs to be upgraded and ensure things like clean water. And then there's us, the citizens. We have a role to play in our own homes by providing diverse diets, and in our communities by supporting those frontline workers and demanding action from our leaders. So let's be perfectly clear about this. Tackling malnutrition is not an act of charity. It is the single smartest, most strategic, nation-building investment India can possibly make. It is the foundation for a healthier, more prosperous, and a more competitive nation. The science is clear, the economics are undeniable, and the moral case is absolute. So we're left with one final question that really defines the choice ahead of us. When will we finally decide to invest in every single child's full potential?